Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are back again with yet another episode of reading a book and telling you all about it. Anup is back with me here. Anup, how are you? How have you been last week?
I'm doing fine. How are you, man?
I'm doing quite good as well. There's a slight drizzle outside, right outside my window. I have a warm cup of coffee right beside me. Uh,
Mm.
a lamp that's glowing exactly on our setup here, and I've got you in company, even though quite remote, but you're still with me.
Okay.
Yeah, you
It
might be
sounds poetic like the book, eh?
Yeah, you might be wondering why I'm being so dramatic, melodramatic, but it's all the influence of the book that we just read last week, Ode
Mm-hmm.
to a Young Poet by Maria Rilke.
Rainer Rilke, right?
Yeah, Rainer Rilke. How did you like it?
It was different. It was nice, I guess. It was for me like after the fourth or fifth letter, it kind of felt monotonous.
Hmm.
But I still kind of no, I enjoyed it actually. How did you like it?
For me, it was, I would say, quite good. I think I confessed to you last week that I have already read this in the past, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I don't remember. I didn't remember so much of the book except for that one particular line that I quoted. And to be honest, I had forgotten about the themes of the book. I only remember that it was a beautiful book, and other than that, nothing else. And it was so nice to refresh that. And I felt so. I realized why I was so giddy after reading the book the last time. The last time I finished that book, and I don't know if you feel that, but every time I read a very good book, I have to give some time to myself, to let the facts sink in that I just read something fabulous, and I will probably not read that thing again in the same vein as that I had done. And I had to give it some time after reading it, and I had to just let that sink in that okay, this book is quite something else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just to give a brief recap to everybody, because there's no plot line here, I don't know if it deserves an Anup
No, no.
back backstory.
I think so. It's basically a dude writing a letter to another dude, right? And then he is replying him.
Yeah, it's basically a dude writing letter to other dude and is replying. I really liked it working as a collection of letters. Uh, but I think I like how the letter progresses over time, right? It acts like how at first they are establishing introduction with one another, and
Mm,
Rilke shows how empathetic he is, or he has the high level of empathy to be able to reply to a young guy and give him respect and suggestions at the same
mm,
time, right? And over time, it feels like he from uh, giving suggestion to a young novice writer, he's giving suggestion to an intermediate writer who has published some of the stuffs, received some criticism, has grown through it, and yeah, in some way is providing recommendations. And at the end of the list, he sends a manuscript of his writing that has not been published yet, as
mm,
probably a symbol of respect. It starts with uh, the writer Kampar, who sent his manuscript to
mm.
to Rilke, and at the end, Rilke sends his manuscript to Kampar as a show of mutual respect, and I found it quite nice for myself.
Mm, 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 mm,
The book itself has no overarching story; it's just collection of letters, but
mm.
uh, I felt it was more like a poetic self-help book. What do you think about
Yeah.
that?
Definitely. It was actually really nice. It felt kind of like if you have some mentor,
Mm-hmm.
and if you are asking for something, if you want, like your mentors will want to say you exactly what you need to do, but like he will kind of guide you, right? And it sort of felt like that. And to be honest with you, I didn't get everything in the book written. I get most out of it, but like there are some parts where I was like, okay, what is he meaning with this? It was quite fun. The funny part, what I noticed, like in every response, is like, "Oh, I'm sorry that I wrote you so late." That
Yeah.
was like literally every letter I list.
uh, yeah, that
Yeah.
was quite funny, right?
Mm, mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
if
that was nice, I guess.
yeah, if you
Tell me.
read the heading, the address changes quite a bit all over Europe. So he's somebody who has been traveling a lot. I can
Yeah.
imagine he received the letter quite late and then had to send it quite late. In between
Mm-hmm.
his travels, have to find some time to sit down and write. And
Mm-hmm.
probably it was a bit of effort to organize the lighting and everything to write in those
Yeah.
days, right? So it was quite fascinating read for me.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to cover some of the themes of the book. There's definitely a theme that every adult gives to a young guy. That is to do your best, work on it, work on your topics. But Rilke gives a unique kind of theme is which I found quite relatable is to work in solitude, right? To accept the loneliness that is associated with focusing on a task,
Mm-hmm.
to dive deep, the value of working deeply and not shallowly, to find all the intricacies, all the gears that grinds. And what he's speaking for is more about fiction and writing, which probably do not, which needs a lot of thinking, but probably comes with quite a different kind of gears to other parts of life. But the way he describes it makes it feel like you are uh, doing a surgery in the depths of character of other people while you're writing, and that's something that I found quite beautiful in my read. Was there some
Mm-hmm.
specific message that you resonated with?
I think it was the one that you phrased a lot of times, right? Like I also noticed it during my reading. It was basically, and I can't phrase it like correctly now, but it was basically the message was basically like, okay, every problem that you get, every misery that you experience in your life, actually wants to see you grow, kind
Yeah,
of, like they want to see the most beautiful of its side. But now you can phrase it like you can cite it what was exactly written because you know it, right?
yeah, I know it by heart. I have stuck a poster with it in my room. It's called "The Dragons in Our Lives Are Princesses Who Are Only Waiting to See Us Act Just Once with Beauty and Courage." It basically
Mm-hmm.
means that all your challenges that you're afraid of, to face
Mm-hmm.
them, they're just uh, waiting for you to take the mantle, take the responsibility, puff your chest out, get your sword, get your shield, and then yeah, brood on the dragon to rescue the princess, like in all the mysteries. Sorry, all the
Mm-hmm.
uh, uh, medieval dramas and so on.
Mm-hmm. So
And
it is only an advice for men, right? Like not for women.
actually, I found this very interesting. Is there's one chapter which I didn't notice when I was younger, but when I was reading this time, I realized that he's quite egalitarian for his time, where he's
Mm-hmm.
saying that this applies to women as well. There will be a time when men and women will not love each other as men and women, but will rather love each other as male human being and female human being, which I
Mm-hmm.
think kind of signifies that both of them stand in the same pedestal and are to be treated equally.
Mm-hmm.
Something that was quite fascinating is I never realized how much sex was written about when I read it the first time. So this time I was quite fascinated to see how much the writer stressed about sex. I
Mm-hmm.
like to write poetry sometimes, and every time I write poetry, somebody always asks me like, "So what kind of heartbreak did you experience?" And I always have to say, yeah, I mean, I have experienced heartbreak, but that's not why I write. I just write because I feel there's some kind of beauty hidden into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it comes from, association of poetry and sexuality comes from old writers from the past who always thought that your emotions were supposed to be written, right? It was not the written language in itself which was beautiful, but rather the emotions that were expressed through those written writings that made it with the beauty. And I think it shows, I think this book uh, refers more to that. It comes from the foundations of emotions. You should write about your emotions, not fear them. Write them in
Mm-hmm.
solitude so that you can capture the pure form of it, right? Your rage, your anger, your anguish, your fear, and everything else. And yeah, but because the collection of later focuses on more about writing, so that's the topic that it covers most about.
Mhm. Yeah, it's unfortunate that you mentioned that he was a German poet in the end, right?
Yeah.
I actually bought the English edition and then I read the English edition, but yeah.
I can only imagine how good it was in German.
Yeah, I wanted to read it in German as well, but I couldn't manage it. Like Rainer, I'm also a bit late in this case.
Rainer Rilke is also, I think, a very famous poet. He's quite well known. Some of my German colleagues who are a bit older, they actually know him very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and turns out he's quite good. Uh, Other than that, I liked how he expresses different cities, right? Rome in its own delight, Florence, different cities, Zurich, Bremen
Mm.
itself. I actually liked Bremen, how he describes, because that's exactly how it is. Always rainy plain
Yeah.
lands, and that was exactly how Bremen is.
Mm,
And
mm,
yeah, that's quite fascinating. I just found a newfound beauty, right? I would say it's pure literature in itself. That the literature lies, the beauty lies not in the plot, not the content of it, but rather the
mm,
choice of words, the flow of text, and how all the messages are weaved into each other to make sense, to guide you through a, I would say, motivational journey. Um,
mm.
I think this was like a self-help book of that time.
You know?
Yeah. So, is there something you would like to add about it?
No, I think I'm done.
Okay.
It was a nice book. It was a short read, but really nice.
Hmm.
And maybe I'll read it again, like in the German edition
Mm-hmm.
sometimes. Hmm? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it from my side.
Yep. I also think it's something that everybody should read. I highly recommend it. The reason why we are not speaking so much about this book, singing about this, is because it's a short read. It doesn't have any overarching story. It's a bunch of recommendations from somebody who has been in the field for much longer than an younger novice. He's guiding as an apprentice to the younger writer, and yeah, it's just something you have to read to appreciate the beauty of it, because the beauty lies in the sentence constructions, the minor details in the text in each and every letters. And yeah, uh, I would say everybody should read this book just to capture the beauty of it. So, Anup, do you want, it's your week to recommend a book? Maybe you can say everybody else what book you're going to recommend.
Sure. I've been recommending nonfiction all the time, so let's stick to the tradition, right?
Mm-hmm.
For next week, I will recommend the book called Stock Investing for Dummies
Mm.
because I also want some knowledge in stock investing,
Wow, I think that
and
makes sense.
a dummy
Yeah.
in that regard, right?
Yeah, so for
Yeah.
next week, we are going to try to make some money by investing in stock. The writer he has recommended is Paul Mladenovich.
Yeah.
So, stock investing for dummies. I'm looking forward to it. After reading something quite poetic, I think there's some beauty in writing something that is more pragmatic, right? There's
Yeah.
this. Uh, have you watched this movie called Dead Poet Society?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
What's it about?
I really recommend this book. Sorry, this movie. It's also something like very poetic kind of movie, and there's a scene where Robin Williams, who is the main character, I would say, he's a teacher and he collects all the kids and he says, uh, medicine, engineering, finance, they are all noble professions, noble pursuits. But
Mm,
the real beauty in life comes from poetry. And you have to
mm,
take
mm,
both of them hand in hand, try to
mm,
have a
mm,
side of poetry to appreciate the beauty of the world, to be able to articulate what you see, to be able to make it immortal, but also you need to be pragmatic in your life, be able to pursue the noble tasks, right? They are not necessarily beautiful, that's why it makes it noble. The noble task of pursuing the beauty of finances in our case. So stock investing for dummies is going to be what we're going to read. And yeah.
That's a really good statement. I like that statement a lot.
Yeah. So we meet again next week. Thank you very much. It was quite a short episode, and see you again next week.
See you. Bye bye.